I think this journey has been a journey of 1,000 steps, right? One step at a time. I feel like the future gets a little bit more clear. And through my work at the table and my sort of history of leadership within the local church, I sort of felt this tug that maybe the Spirit was leading me towards more education, to learn more about what I didn't know, and to kind of step more deeply into ministry. So my name's Maggie Keller. I am a part-time MDiv student. I'm from South Minneapolis. This is actually my second year at Luther Seminary.
My name's Nathan Like. I am the associate pastor at St. John's Lutheran Church in Lakeville, Minnesota. And I grew up around here in Lakeville. I graduated from Luther in 2024 with my Master of Divinity. When I was applying to Luther, I didn't know about the Jubilee Scholarship. So my wife and I, we had braced for impact to say, God, if I'm called to do this, whatever it takes, I don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know what it's going to be. It really was this leap of faith. And I remember being on the advisory call and saying, I'm going to repeat back what I think you just said, just to make sure I'm hearing you right. If I'm admitted, I'm scholarshiped. I could not believe it. It was like someone telling me I won the lottery or something.
Last spring, I took congregational care with Cody Sanders. And I would say that those very practical skills that we practiced from the very first day of class, I was able to implement immediately in my work in our local church. Just meeting people where they're at, being an empathetic witness, listening to their stories. Those are practical skills that all of us need, but I think ministry leaders in particular. Here at Luther, I am learning how to minister to a world that's hurting, and I think now is exactly the right time to make that investment.
The Jubilee Scholarship for me was about a lot more than just money. It was about knowing that I am being sent, mission, missio, to use the fancy Greek that I learned at Luther Sem. This idea of, I can't pay for this myself, but somebody else or a group of people said, hey, where the church will come together and we'll help make a way for you to do this. I think about that often, and I think about how can I also continue to find ways to send others into the ministry that God's called them. It might not be to be a pastor in a pulpit, but it could be all sorts of other ways.
I think a donation to the Jubilee Scholarship says, I believe in the future of the church. I believe that the Spirit is still working. I believe that God is still moving among God's people and in God's church. And that means everything to me as a future ministry leader.
Some of the ways being at Luther and through the scholarship impacted me as a leader was very observable to begin with. I was already in ministry, and I remember the first time somebody said, I can tell you've been going to seminary. Your sermons are a lot better. Hopefully they weren't too terrible before. But I would have people say, I can tell, you learned something as I was going through the process of seminary. So it's the Jubilee Scholarship is about a lot more than just money. It's about continuing to love our neighbors and our future neighbors, because there's people that have not had an experience with the gospel that I believe the seminary empowers pastors and deacons and Christian leaders to take out into the world.